Hello and welcome back to the Fit Diaries. This is episode number 5. Numbers. I told myself I would not judge my body based off the number on the scale, but the numbers that came to haunt me is my lipid panel. It was a slap in the face to receive my lab results, but it gave me the motivation to get back into the headspace needed to continue this fitness journey. First off, let's talk metabolic syndrome. By definition, metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that occur together, increasing your risk for heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. These conditions include elevated blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, and abnormal cholesterol or triglyceride levels.
Good morning. Not motivated whatsoever today, but I woke up a little later than usual, did all my mental health stuff, journaling, meditate, and then stretched, walked on the treadmill for 30 minutes. Now I'm gonna go to this location where there's stairs and run them. I think it was in my last video that I ran like about up and down 4 times, so that's what I'm gonna do now, and then I'm gonna go and do hopefully abs and upper body at the gym, but that just depends on how tired I am.
Okay, back to metabolic syndrome. In order to be diagnosed with metabolic syndrome, you have to have 3 or more of the following: a waist circumference of more than 40 inches for men and 35 inches for women, triglycerides 150 milligrams per deciliter or higher, or taking medication for high triglycerides, HDL cholesterol less than 40 for men and less than 50 for women, or taking medication to lower your HDL cholesterol, blood pressure, which would be systolic blood pressure over 130 millimeters of mercury, or a diastolic blood pressure of greater than 85 millimeters of mercury, or taking medication for high blood pressure, and a fasting blood glucose over 100. In the beginning of the year, I was at such high risk. I had a triglyceride level at 155. My waist was 31 inches, which was just 4 inches away. Blood sugar fasting was 92, that is 8 away from 100. Way too close for comfort. So I knew I had to do something in the beginning of the year. And in the beginning of the year, I was so highly motivated. I lost 13 pounds within the first 2 months, and I was so excited. I got down to about 138, in which you saw in one of the videos, and then my progress remained absolutely stagnant. I had gained about 3 pounds back and remained stagnant for about 4 months at 142. And this was very frustrating, but obviously I stopped doing what I was supposed to do, and I decided to start eating out again. I decided to start letting little things back into my diet that I wasn't supposed to, even though I knew better. And then I had my lab results rechecked, and my triglyceride levels went from 155 down to 114. I was ecstatic. I was so excited. But my LDL cholesterol went from 131 to 171. My total cholesterol went from 217 to 249. This was such a huge slap in the face. I was so upset. I could not believe that I'd worked what I thought was so hard, yet it wasn't reflecting in my labs. And yes, there is a possibility that it could be genetic, and I know that in my family we do have high cholesterol because my dad always sends me his labs, and I can compare.
I was beating myself up today for coming to the gym so late, and actually it was perfect. You know why? Because nobody was here.
So my dad sends me his labs, and we can compare, so I know that it does run in my family. But what was so frustrating to me was, how was I able to get my triglycerides down so well but not the rest of my lipid panel? So what I was educated on was that your triglycerides are mainly fats and sugars in your body, and that completely made sense to me because I was going to Starbucks about 2 to 3 times a week, and I was drinking a venti matcha latte. And this was probably one of the hardest things for me to wean myself off of, was my venti matcha latte. I worked at Starbucks for a decade prior to becoming a nurse, and that was my go-to drink. And then when I became a nurse, I started drinking matcha lattes every time I would go to work. This was like my energy, my fuel. But in a venti-sized matcha latte, there is about 39 grams of sugar, and I would substitute the regular milk for soy, and I would add an extra scoop of matcha, so that would add even more sugar. So I want to say by default, I eliminated 117 grams of sugar a week from my diet just off these matcha lattes alone, which was such a big deal. I also went from eating 3 pounds of red meat a week to 1 pound of red meat every other week. And so I think this is the reason why my triglycerides had changed. One thing I also was educated on was that to control your LDL, total cholesterol, it's probably best if you eat It's probably best if you eat a diet where your saturated fat levels are low. So on my Lose It app that I use to track my macros, I'm allotted 17.5 milligrams of saturated fat per day. And now that I've been paying attention to it, it is honestly so hard, just because I realized like saturated fats is in a lot of foods that I love, especially like fat cheeses like mozzarella. Oh my God, love mozzarella cheese. But now I've been paying more attention to the packaging of everything that I've been consuming. Seeing my cardiologist and getting this huge packet from my primary nurse practitioner on all the dietary changes and all the lifestyle changes that I needed to make really put me back into the headspace and motivated me that I absolutely need to work at this. I was given until November to recheck my labs, so I buckled down, honed in. I swear to God, within 1 week I saw results again, and it was super exciting. So what am I doing again? Back to 2 liters of water minimum a day, eating home cooked meals, paying attention to every single thing that I'm putting in my body, so reading every single label. I am walking 10,000 steps a day. This is non-negotiable. I am waking up even at 4 a.m. before work just to make sure I get this done. I'm weightlifting about 3 to 5 times a week, running 3 to 5 times a week. And as I said, look at the results. I cannot believe this. I have not seen this number since literally like March 2nd, and we are back, baby. We are back. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you attend to your primary care physician for any diet advice.